You are live.
Thank you. We'll start in a minute. Just wait 30 seconds. Next people should join. We'll start. Okay. So I hope everyone joined here from B17. I'm just expecting everyone from B17 should join. Please quick. Okay. So I'm going to start. Okay. So let's talk about, we're talking about a concept called Pragma autonomous transaction. In the last session, anyone can confirm if you're able to see my screen. Please confirm, a single person. Anyone? Abhishek, you confirm, please, if you're able to see the
Not
screen.
yet.
Not yet? Sorry. Okay, let me know if you're able to see the screen.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so let's talk about Pragma autonomous transaction. If you remember last session, right, everyone, if you remember last session, we discussed about the user-defined exception. When we are discussing user-defined exception, I discussed a concept called Pragma exception I90. Hope you all remember Pragma exception I90. I'm just expecting, because we did this session the last Sunday, so there are 5 days. I'm expecting everybody should go through the notes, right? You all go through the notes, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Aniket, Joshi, Neha,
Yes, yes.
Avinash,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Whenever talking about Pragma exception I90, remember what I telling you, concept never change, right? When we're discussing about Pragma exception I90, if I open the notes for you all, you can see that this is what I sent to everybody. The first line is Pragma is not an executable code. Instead, Pragma is an instruction to the compiler. This line never changed. This is the concept, that Pragma is an instruction to the compiler. When we're talking about Pragma autonomous transaction, is something which is actually very powerful concept of the PL SQL, right? The concept of the transaction. Hope you remember when we discussed about the ACID property, when we started PL SQL, discussed ACID property. At that time, I tell you that ACID property is the backbone of database. Remember everyone? Remember everyone? ACID property is the backbone of the database we
Yes.
discussed. Remember?
Yes.
Atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. At the time of atomicity, I tell you, atomicity means what? Everything will be completed or nothing will be completed. I gave the example of ATM machine, if you all remember that. Go through the notes, it was written everywhere. What does atomicity means? If I'm processing thousands of record, any one record fail, then everything fail. This was the concept. Remember everyone?
Yes, Vishal.
Remember everyone? Right?
Yes, Vishal.
Yes, Vishal.
So when see, sometimes I'm telling you one thing, right? If you remember, every time I'm telling you how to answer is very important. What to answer is not important. So sometimes you have to feel that if you feel lucky in the interview, interviewer asks you this question, Pragma autonomous transaction. Because in case of Pragma autonomous transaction, you get a chance to actually impress the interviewer with the knowledge how you're going to explain. Does not matter he asking or not asking, but you have to mention the concept of ACID property at the time of Pragma autonomous transaction. Pragma autonomous transaction is basically challenge the ACID property of the database. ACID property A is saying atomicity. Everything is completed, nothing will be completed. Either 1 or 0. There is no midway. There is no middle path. There is no partial transaction. Everything completed, nothing will be completed. ACID property A. We learned so many scenario-based questions on the ACID property. Hope you all remember that. Pragma autonomous transaction allow us to create a new transaction within a transaction. Understand my line, what I'm trying to say? Pragma autonomous transaction allow us to create a new transaction within a transaction that may commit or roll back independent of your parent transaction. It means if I'm writing a begin and end means one transaction, simple. Begin and end means one transaction. So when I write one transaction, that must follow ACID. ACID means, suppose talking about A, atomicity, must follow atomicity. Everything what is written here is must be completed or not completed. But Pragma autonomous transaction give a power, right? Give a power. First to understand what is Pragma, then understand when it will be. Why I'm teaching Pragma today? Because maybe on the weekend we'll start triggers. So you must know Pragma because the question coming in the interview for related to that. So that's why I'm taking Pragma today. So whenever I write anything between this begin and end, everything will be completed or nothing will be completed. But if your Pragma allow us that we can create a new transaction within this transaction, that may be a child transaction, you can say, that may roll back or may commit. independent of the main transaction. Means this is the parent transaction. Parent transaction may be rollback, but this transaction you are making commit, means this is committed, independent of the parent. Or maybe parent transaction you are making commit, but here you did rollback. So this is rollback, does not matter this is commit or not, independent of the parent transaction. This is the concept. Pragma autonomous transaction basically change the way how subprogram behave. Normally what is happening, right? Whenever writing a PL SQL block, it will take the whole transaction as a one transaction. They pass information to the compiler, and PL SQL will treat the whole modification as a single transaction, and saving or discarding this transaction affect the entire pending changes in that session. When writing a begin and end, when you pass this information to the PL SQL engine, the compiler will take as a one transaction, and anything happening, commit or rollback, will impact the whole transaction. But Pragma autonomous transaction, you can say an autonomous transaction is an independent transaction started by a calling program. A commit or rollback of SQL statement in the Pragma autonomous transaction has no effect on commit and rollback of the calling program. Means parent and child behave like two different programs within the program. Committing or rollback of parent does not matter to child. Committing and rollback to the child does not matter to the parent. Remember that. One more thing. Pragma autonomous transaction always specified at subprogram level. The question can be asked in the interview. Pragma autonomous transaction will instruct the compiler to treat me differently, because I am Pragma, to treat me differently with the main transaction, and issuing commit or rollback is mandatory. Always remember that. Issuing commit or, this is an interview question, all small question. Can we write a autonomous transaction without commit or rollback? No. Issuing commit and rollback is mandatory when you're writing a Pragma autonomous transaction. Let's see a few examples, then understand the concept of Pragma, and then we understand how we are using Pragma. Okay, let's see one small example. For example, suppose I'm writing a table. Create table test. I'm getting a table test. Suppose my value varchar 2 20. Remember, the concept is only one because I'm saying this, it will challenge the ACID property. I'm giving a big example where you understand how it is challenging the ACID property. It's a very powerful, right? It's a very powerful. The interview question coming, you know what interview question is coming? What is Pragma autonomous transaction when it is used? This is the interview question. So first to understand Pragma, then you know where it will be used and why we should use and why we should not use. Or whenever you take any topic, go to what, when, where, which scenario, why not. All the questions you must have to understand and must have to answer to the interviewer. I'm getting a table, my table created. Let me create a procedure. Create or replace procedure. I'm creating a procedure, suppose child block is begin end, right? In this begin end, I just go and write insert into test values child block block insert. That's it. After that, I'm issuing a commit command. One second, sorry. Hence, I created a procedure. Procedure name is child block. Procedure name is child block created, and that procedure will basically insert a record. Whenever I call this procedure, it insert a record into this table as a child block insert. That's it. Done. We created. This will be created. So let's create one more procedure where I'm going to call this. Let's say I'm writing one more procedure. Create or replace procedure. Suppose I'm writing parent block. Create or replace procedure parent block is begin end. In this begin end, I'm going to insert the same thing here to parent block and writing the name, for example, parent block insert. Simple. After that, I'm calling here child block. This procedure which is created, I call this procedure here. This procedure is called here. Then I write a rollback. My begin, end, let's say end, my procedure will be ended. Procedure created. Now if you see this here, let's say I'm going to execute this procedure. Exec parent block. Let me repeat one more time what I did, then I will run the scenario. What I did, I'm trying to teach you the concept of Pragma autonomous transaction. Let's see a simple transaction. If you see, we create a table. After that, I create one procedure that is insert data into test table. Here I'm using commit. Here I'm using commit command, means insert the data and issue the commit. After that, I create one more procedure. In that, I'm inserting one more thing, one more row in the table. I'm calling this procedure here, child block procedure. This procedure I'm calling here and make a rollback. Means whatever you inserted, just make a rollback. That's it. Done. Let's see. I'm executing this procedure. Execute parent block. My procedure executed. So select star from test. What data insert into the table? You can see that. Here you can see both record inserted into the table. Both were inserted. It first insert this record, then it insert this, then it call this procedure. See, try to understand what is happening. Let me repeat it one more time. What is happening? Whenever I call this procedure, this data will be inserted. After that, first thing this will be inserted. Then after this child block will be called. When this child block will be called, here automatically commit has been fired. When commit fire, everything committed. This data always also committed. Then this rollback has no impact. Till here, any confusion, everybody? This consider everything is a one transaction. This child block fire. In this child block, there is a commit statement. Once anything is committed, cannot be rolled back. So when child block fire means commit fire. That's it. So this data is also committed. That rollback has no impact. Any question till here? Anybody? Ask me. Anybody? Any question here?
There should be a child block inside 2 times.
Not 2 times. There's only 1 time, right?
First time we have executed in
No, I just create this procedure. I call this procedure here. When I'm calling this procedure and executing this, first of all, it insert this record, parent block inserted. Then after it called this particular procedure. So this particular procedure will call and insert this value, child block inserted, and then it fire commit command. When it fire commit command, so this data also committed. Agree? Because of AC property, atomicity, everything completed, nothing will be completed. You fire a commit, done. Rollback has no impact because thing is already committed. This is the concept we all know from starting when we're learning PL SQL. Let's make my child block as an independent transaction. In the child block, I just go and write here Pragma autonomous underscore transaction. That's it. When I add the concept of Pragma autonomous transaction added, then what happened? Pragma is an instruction to the compiler. This is what we learn. If you open my last notes, if everybody can, concept never change. If you see this Pragma exercise 990 concept, what I teach you, that Pragma is not executable code. It's just an instruction to the compiler that I am Pragma, treat me differently. Simple, one-line definition. So just make this whole this procedure as a Pragma autonomous. I call this procedure Pragma autonomous transaction. Done. Let's go, and my table already has a record. Let's go and drop this, truncate this table. So the table will be empty. Let's see what data will be inserted. Truncate table test. A table truncated, there is no data. Now again, I'm going to call the same parent procedure. In parent procedure, I'm inserting a record, then I child log block, then roll back. My statement processed. Let's see the record and then explain the funda. Only one data inserted. Let's see what is happening. See this, try to understand it. What is happening? Now, this particular block is a Pragma autonomous. Pragma autonomous means this is independent now. This become independent of the main program. Main program is this parent block, because I am calling execute parent block. When I'm calling execute parent block, it insert this record first. Parent block inserted. This record will be inserted. After that, child block fire. But this child block is independent because Pragma autonomous. To insert this value, child record inserted, and fire commit as well. But this commit will not commit this, because now it is Pragma autonomous. Now this is independent of the main transaction. Now it is independent of the main transaction. And when I fire rollback, it will roll back this value, not this value. So only one row inserted, child block insert. I hope you are able to get the point. Let me repeat it again. Pragma is an instruction to the compiler that treat me differently. Now, when I execute the parent procedure, it will be totally independent on the child procedure. Now here, when I execute this parent procedure, it totally independent of this child block. Whatever you are doing this, because this child block is defined as a Pragma autonomous transaction. Pragma autonomous transaction make it independent of the main transaction. It will challenge the ACID property. Remember, whenever you give this answer to the interviewer, always use this, always explain ACID property. Does not matter he's asking or not. Your main funda is what? Your main funda is how to kill the time. Remember, right? Shahrukh Khan dialogue, Chak De India movie. If you play your 70 minutes the best hockey, you will nobody will stop you. Definitely going to win. Same thing here. If you give your 50 minutes of the best interview, nobody will stop your selection. And your whole motto is how to kill the time with your best answer. With your best answer. This is what you have to do. You have to say the Pragma autonomous transaction is a transaction which will challenge the ACID property. Because then you explain 1 minute for ACID property. ACID property means atomicity. Atomicity is saying everything is completed or nothing will be completed. 0 or 1. There is no midway. Either everything completed, nothing will be completed. But Pragma autonomous transaction allow us to create an independent transaction within the transaction. And where there are two sub-program, or you can say parent and child program, where if I make a child program as an independent program, it does not impact anything of the parent program. Either parent is commit or rollback, it not impact the child. If child is commit and rollback, it not impact the parent. Means within the same begin and end, if I write it, they will treat as two different programs. It's not like one single transaction and follow the atomicity. No, it will not. Because here we are using the concept of Pragma autonomous transaction. Right? Let's see. Let me give one more example. But this example you have to give to the interviewer because easy one. Okay. Let's see one more concept. Let me see one more concept. One more concept I'm talking about. Let me create a table. Create table employees as select star from HR.employees. Why I'm doing this? Because I don't have access on HR schema. So I create one simple table because I'm going to insert, update, or delete something. Okay. Suppose the question will be where 1 is equal to 2. I hope I discussed multiple times, but again I'm discussing. Interviewer, this question coming in Amazon. This question comes in Amazon for interview. Create table employee as create table A as select star from B where 1 equal to 2. What happened? Or suppose just this. Forget about just only this. What will happen?
Create the table with structures.
Create table structures only, sir.
It will structure only. It will create data only, man. How can say structure only?
Both, sir. Both data plus
structure and data will be.
How to answer this topic is it will create. Yes, exactly. Correct, Haima. Always answer like this. The constant not copied, data type copied, date, because how to make you different? Everybody will give the same answer. That when you create a table from a table, we can do this, but you have to add up. When you create a table like this, the constant not copied, primary key not copied, only data type copied and the data copied. But one constant copied. Which constant copied? Not null constant copied. Remember that line. So always have to use this concept, right? They can ask you, is it not null constant copied? Because primary key not copied, foreign key not copied, constant not copied, index not copied. It will not same replica. I just copy data and data type, but not null constant copied. Okay. Let's go back to one scenario. I created a table. Select a star from employees. Select a star from employees. Okay, let's see this. I'm making one solution. Declare, begin. You can see the concept of Pragma. After that, I'm giving you answer the question when to use Pragma, when not to use Pragma. Because this was the interview question. What is Pragma? Pragma autonomous, and when to use. What is Pragma? I'm giving you 2-3 examples. Nobody will ask you in an interview to write in single line of code. Nobody. But what example I explain, when I'm sending you the notes, I'm expecting you all to take this example as a copy and pen in front of interviewer and try to explain this example with a copy and pen. But 99.99999% sure nobody will ask you to write a code on Pragma autonomous transaction because a concept. But let's understand this one more scenario, Pragma autonomous transaction. Beginning. I'm writing, for example, let's see. Select salary into L_salary from employees. Select. Anybody have any question? Somebody paying me any question? You are talking about 1 equal to nothing. 1 equal to 2. This is what I explained previously also. Sagar, you can ping me personally for this. But 1 equal to 2 means what? 1 equal to 2 is fail. If I create where 1 equal to 2, it means this condition fail. If interviewer can ask you what happened if 2 equal to 3, again only table structure copied, data not copied, because where condition fail. That's it. 1 equal to 2 condition is fail. One is never equal to 2. So it will data not copied, only structure copied. Okay, that's it. Let's say this one scenario. Select salary into L salary from employees, where, for example, employee underscore ID is equal to 101. Take this employee ID. 101, 102. We can say both have a salary 17,000, 17,000. Let me put it here. 101 salary 17,000. 102 salary 17,000. Everybody can see that. I'm just doing the same thing. Select salary into L salary. L salary, I'm going to define it here. L salary is what? Table name dot column name sentence type. I hope there is no problem anybody till here. I hope so, right? Let me print this record. dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. I'm printing a value before salary of employee 101 is, right? Adding this salary. Simple program. This program is doing nothing. If I just run this code, it just print the salary of employee ID 101. Before salary of 101 is 17,000. I just want to treat it, make a transaction, and want to show you the concept of autonomous transaction one more time. See this, it is happening, it's printing the salary of 101. Let's go back here. The same thing, I'm printing the salary of 102 as well. Same thing I'm printing here. Salary of 102. Salary of 102 is 17,000. Both salary of 102 is 17,000. There is no problem at all. Let me go try and update the salary. Update employees. Set salary is equal to salary plus 5,000. Salary plus 5,000. Where employee ID is equal to 101. Where employee ID is equal to 101. Let's make returning. Okay, I will let in the returning class we haven't discussed. Okay, let's discuss here itself. Returning salary into L underscore suppose salary. What is returning clause? Returning is a clause I will discuss in few minutes. For example, returning is a clause how to avoid unnecessary SQL. If you just go here and in front of you, see I'm going to Google and show you something. Some people can ask me the question, sir, how to write a best code or how my performance tuning will. Performance tuning is a process which is implemented from inception of the project to deliver to the client. How you write the code, each and everything will be just like now you can go a car, press the button, the car is started, not the process. We have to take care of the performance tuning each and every step. One of the step is avoid unnecessary SQL. What is unnecessary SQL? Returning clause. What is returning clause means? I'm searching in front of you, in front of Google. For example, say this here. I have updated this salary. Forget about returning clause. Control X. I updated this salary. If I have to know what is the salary updated, I have to go and write a code again. Select salary into L underscore salary from employees where employee underscore ID is equal to 101. Agree, everyone? Forget about these two lines. Focus on line number 13, update. I am updating employee, setting salary is equal to salary plus 5,000, where employee ID is equal to 101. It means whatever the employee ID 101 salary, just increase the salary by 5,000. What is the previous salary? What is the new salary increase? To find out, I have to write one more select statement. It means I'm hitting the database 2 times. Very soon we are going to learn context switching and all. Performance tuning going to start in our batch very soon, maybe next week. So what is this? Context means I'm hitting the database again and again. One time I hit to update, next time I hit to select. To avoid unnecessary SQL. Unnecessary SQL, I don't have to write it. To avoid means I'm making one more trip to my network, go and coming back. To avoid this SQL, I just go and write it this. Returning salary into L underscore salary, anything. So whatever this data will be updated, the same thing will be returning. Returning clause is used to avoid unnecessary SQL. If you go and search for unnecessary SQL concept, returning clause will allow whatever DML operation you modified, just insert, update, and delete. Without returning, you can see I'm just reading in front of you from the Google. Without returning, you would have to run a select statement after the DML statement is completed in order to obtain the values of the change column. So returning helps avoid another round trip to database, another context switch in a PL SQL block. It helps you a lot for a performance point of view. So returning clause is just a clause. I don't have to write an extra SQL. My returning clause will return the salary. Whatever the salary will be updated into, for example, L_new_salary. Just take another variable. This L_new_salary, I define it here. It's also employees.salary percentage type. We have to learn the power of Pragma autonomous transaction. Let's make within this transaction, let's make it transaction within transaction. I'm writing a procedure. Test block is. I'm writing a procedure test block is. Suppose I'm writing begin and test block. Understand the concept of Pragma. Within this, I'm writing here Pragma autonomous transaction. Spelling is correct. AUTONO. No, this is AUTONOMOUS autonomous _ transaction. Pragma autonomous transaction I created. This transaction is a Pragma autonomous transaction is called. Now here I'm going to update within this. Just make it here a little bit like this. Within this begin and end, I'm going to write here update. I'm writing here update for employees. Set salary is equal to salary plus, for example, 15,000, where employee underscore ID is equal to 102. Update salary of 102. Make it commit. Because remember this interview question, every Pragma autonomous transaction, it must come with commit and rollback because that transaction is independent. It always comes with commit and rollback. Interview question it is, okay? Understand this. This I created one transaction test block. After this here, selecting the salary, forget about selecting. After updating this salary, just let me print this salary as well. I'm writing here after salary. After salary of employee ID 101 is L new salary. I call this test block here. After calling test block, I make it rollback. When I make it rollback, let's print the board salary again. We just date. Make it after salary 10102. That's it. Nothing else. Thing is done. Just one line. This is okay. Before starting this program, let's go to select staff from employee table. We can see salary of 101 and 102 is 17,000. Everybody can see that. Let me remove this line as well because we know 17,000 is the salary. Let's talk about the code. How code is working. We see the output after that. When code will start, code start from line number 10, the main transaction. Code start from line number 10. It go to the next line, line number 11. In line number 11, it try to search the salary of 101 and put here. It print the salary here 17,000. Then it go to next line 14. Check the salary for employee ID 102. It print the salary here 17,000. Ask me anybody any doubt here. Just stop me and ask. 17. Go to the next line 16. Line code is executing line by line. Update employee. Is updating and setting salary. Setting salary again, salary plus 5,000, where employee is equal to 101. 101 salary 17,000. I update it and new salary printed as a 22,000. Agree everyone? Any confusion, anybody till here? 17 plus 5, 22,000. Anybody, any doubt?
No.
No.
No, sir.
Then this yes, any doubt you have?
Yes, Vishal.
Yes, tell me your doubt.
Procedure won't compile first.
Sorry?
Yeah, you said that after declaration, it will start from begin, and it will select.
This is declare section.
But in declaration, if you have right procedure, so
This is what called private procedure. It means it's a private procedure.
Okay.
This private and public, there are two words. Public means if this procedure will create and store into the database. Now this procedure is not stored into the database. For storing, what is procedure? If you remember my procedure and function lecture, I told you procedure and function are reusable program unit. Reusable means we can use it again and again. Store into the database. That's it. When we create a procedure, right, create or replace procedure, then that procedure will be stored into the database. Here I am creating one independent procedure just here. So when we call this block, the scope of this procedure is only till this block only. In the database, nobody knows. The test underscore block, there is no as such procedure into the database. This procedure exists only here when I call this program, because this procedure not comes with create or replace procedure. When I use the word create or replace procedure, it means I fire a DDL and that procedure will be stored into the database. Here I just write a simple concept that I create a procedure, a block, simple block I created that I'm calling a procedure. Let's see how it's working. Right? So now what is happening here? 22,000. Now this procedure will be called test block. When it called test block, it go here and see, oh, this is Pragma. Pragma means what? Pragma means independent. In this, it will go and update this salary 102 and add 15,000. Means 17,000 salary of 102 is now 17 and plus 15 become 32,000. Agree, everyone? Agree, everyone?
Yes.
This test block will execute it. The salary become 32,000. Right?
Yes.
Then after rollback. But what this rollback will do? This is the concept of the Pragma. Rollback has no impact on this test block, because test block is an independent transaction. Pragma autonomous transaction. Pragma autonomous transaction instruction to the compiler that I am Pragma, treat me differently. I am coming with this family, but I am not a part of this family actually. I'm just coming as a guest, right? And treat me differently. So this rollback will not impact anything here. This rollback will impact all the DML before that. This update will be rollback. Was salary will be 22,000, it will be update rollback to again 17,000. This update has no impact at all. That will be rollback. That is printed again 101, it will print 17,000, but 102 it is printed 32,000. Let me run this code and then we can see the output. Then I will take the question one more time. See this output. See this output. What is happening here? What is happening here in this output? First, it will print the salary of 101, 17,000 printed here. Next line, 102, it printed here 17,000. Then it will go and update the salary. After updating the salary, 17 plus 5, 22 is printed here 22,000. Just print the record 22,000. After printing 22,000, I call this test block. Where is it? Test block. Test block will update the salary here and make a commit. Data will be committed. 17 plus 13, 32,000 become the salary of employee ID 102. Then I fire rollback. This rollback will not impact anything here, but rollback this update, this DML operation. So when again I print 101 salary, it roll back and printed 17,000. But 102 is still 32,000. This is called Pragma autonomous transaction. If you see this line, the code is moved line by line and try to see what is happening. This is what the Pragma autonomous transaction is. Now the question is when to use Pragma. When somebody can ask you, you have to give exact line what I'm trying to say. Only use Pragma autonomous transaction for logging purpose. Be extremely careful not to abuse the power of Pragma. We should only use for logging. If I am using Pragma, the exact same line you have to tell to the interviewer, because what I'm telling you now is not my own words. I read from Oracle documentation, same thing I'm telling you. If you are using Pragma or autonomous transaction other than the logging purpose, it means there is flaw in your database design. Because our whole database is a concept of ACID property. And Pragma autonomous transaction will actually challenge the ACID property. Pragma autonomous transaction does not matter you commit or not, I will do. Because I am Pragma, I can do things independently. So always when Pragma autonomous transaction comes into the picture, you have to answer this line exactly in the same way that Pragma autonomous transaction only used for logging purpose. Be extremely careful. The same line written in the Docker documentation, extremely careful, the line I'm using. Be extremely careful not to abuse the power of Pragma. Reason is, it is challenging the ACID property. So So if we are using to implement our business logic just because of Pragma, the power of Pragma, it means there is some flaw in my database design. We have to take care of it. So this is how
login is purpose means where exactly?
Logging means something log, L-O-G-G-I-N-G. Logging means I want to log something. When we discuss triggers, I will let you. This question comes in the time of trigger. Suppose somebody come to your system. Okay, take an example. Suppose let's see this example. Suppose somebody come to your system. There is a table called suppose employee table, right? And I'm doing some testing. In employee table there is a column salary. Okay, salary is suppose 15,000. Someone come and update this salary to 20,000 to see that some particular percentage they increase anything. I'll just give an example of salary. Any particular column, they go and change it. They haven't fire commit yet. They just change, means the changes only in that session. He did his testing of the code. The developer did the testing and see, okay, yes, my code is working fine. Let's roll back. The developer will be rolled back again and the transaction become 15,000. Nobody knows. Something will be done. Update statement has been done. He did her testing and then roll back again. Everything done. But suppose I want to check who come. Please mute. Some who is not speaking, please mute. So suppose, but as an architect or suppose as a database owner, if I don't allow you, no, you can't do that, and I want to log who come, who try to do anything. So I can use the concept of Pragma Automata Transaction, who can go and log that user XYZ come on 12th of January, time 9:45. He will write an update statement on this particular table. That will be logged. That will be logged, and does not matter if when you roll back, this logging done. So we'll learn this concept while discussing triggers, so don't worry about it. We'll discuss this concept trigger, but remember this line. Logging is just log the information, not to implement business logic, not to implement your business code, not to implement your concept to fulfill some business need or customer need. Never use Pragma Automata Transaction for that. Never. If you are doing so, it means there is some flaw in your database design. This is the concept of Pragma Automata Transaction. Remember the one line, Pragma Automata Transaction is independent transaction from the parent transaction. The child block or the child code run independently to the parent. It can be commit or rollback. If it is committed, it not impact to the parent. If it is rollback, it not impact to the parent. So they both are totally independent, and the parent code is continue to run without affecting any child block. Now go back to one more concept here. When we learn function procedure, if you remember my function procedure class, right? I discussed one scenario. Can I write a DML in a function? Hope you all remember that, right? Remember this? Let me, if you want to go, let me go to here.
Yes, we can write, but it is not recommended.
Yes, we should.
Yes, let me open the notes if I have this.
We can write it, but yeah.
I think chapter number 18. I think I discussed in 18. Let me open that 18 lecture. Please go through the notes, everyone. You just have maybe a month, you all will go for interview. I'm telling you all will get selected. Believe me, there's not a single question from here and there. Let me go to that particular concept, DML concept. Yes. Can we write DML in a function? I gave you answer. This is how you have to answer. Yes, we can write DML. It will compile, do exactly what is written, but it is not advisable because for computation, you are at a provide procedure. I make the line, we cannot call such a function in a select statement. I created one update statement, update DML statement. When I try to write this code, it gives me error. It is not loaded yet. Let me reload. It will give you error that you cannot call this. To go here, and let me show the error one, then I go back. Oh, it is not loaded. Anyway, when you call this particular function, that function contains a DML statement. It will give you error that you can see here. Cannot perform a DML operation inside a query. You can't do that. Right? This is the answer you have to give to the interviewer. But at the same time, when interviewer asks you this question, that can I write a DML? After giving this answer, then you can say, but if I am using a Pragma autonomous transaction, then we can do. So what is happening? He does not have an idea that he's going to ask you Pragma. You force him to ask me Pragma because you told a line. Can we write it? Interviewer, simple question. Can I write a DML? You said, sir, yes, you can write, you can do whatever you want, you can do in the Pragma, into that DML operation of function. Function will compile, function work perfectly. The only limitations is you cannot call that function into select statement. This is what interviewer were expecting. But after that, you are making a trap. But you can do that if you write a pragma, pragma autonomous transaction in a function, then you can call this function select. Once you said that, interviewer next question, what is pragma? Even he does not have idea he's going to ask pragma. You forced him to ask me pragma because you used that word at the time of interview. Right? Let's see this. Let's see one example. Pragma autonomous transaction. Suppose let me create a table. Create table, my function calls. I'm getting a table. My function calls. Okay. I'm supposed to columns I'm making text varchar to. Yes, tell me.
The Pragma autonomous transaction is only useful for calling procedure and the functions.
No, I never said that. See, okay, I think you again missed the concept. Pragma autonomous transaction is only used if I make a particular thing independent. Basically, it is used for logging purpose only. This is what I'm trying to explain you. The process of the concept of Pragma autonomous transaction is it make that transaction independent so that it will not impact the parent transaction. This is what I give the example. All the examples, it's gone already. All the example, I note the same thing. Let's go here. Control Z. You missed the concept, right?
If we write a begin and end, and again within a begin and end, if we write begin and we use a commit, so it will get automatically committed, no?
Yes, that's why this is what I'm see. Commit and rollback concept is totally different. Commit and rollback, the concept never change. If you do something committed means committed. You cannot roll it back. Does not matter as a PL SQL block. A normal insert statement or update statement or delete statement, any DML operation you wrote, and if you fire a commit, it means data is committed. Simple. You cannot roll it back. This is the concept. You can't do that. But when I'm making it Pragma, means I'm making two different transactions. I'm talking about transaction. I'm talking about blocking PL SQL. So I'm telling if you make one transaction and second transaction, the second transaction or any child transaction, any sub-program will make you independent. That's why I'm telling you that line, the Pragma autonomous transaction only used for logging purpose. When I'm using triggers, and maybe tomorrow on the weekend class, we will learn trigger. So when tomorrow we learn trigger, I will come back to Pragma autonomous transaction one more time because trigger is a very important topic for the interview. You will definitely get one question from the trigger. Then you again come to this time, how we are using this Pragma concept at the time of trigger. It is not required. I'm just giving you two transactions to try to show you. And then I'm teaching, see how to answer is very important. What to answer is not important. Just like giving this example, that can I write a DML in a function? Everybody can say, this is what I'm teaching you all in chapter number 18. You all can give this. This answer is perfectly correct. You can't do that. You cannot call a DML, you cannot call a function which contains a DML in a function. But again, you have to use the concept of Pragma. You have to tell the interviewer. Let's see this. I'm trying to teach you here. Let's see one example. Maybe your question will be solved. I'm getting one table, create table, list, or anybody asking something? Any question?
Yes, Vishal.
Yes,
Pragma autonomous transaction can be used only on procedure and function, or we can use on
anyway, that's what I'm telling you, Sagar. When we discuss the same thing, come back again at the time of trigger. Tomorrow we have a trigger class. I will make it again. It's not like two different transactions. Never use this word that I'm making as a procedure or function. Two different transactions. I want to make two separate transactions and try to distinguish that you are separate, But I'm making a name to the block. And that's why Pragma autonomous transaction is a concept which is used only for logging purpose. This line is very important. This line you have to tell to the interviewer. Pragma autonomous transaction will use for logging purpose only. If you are using other than logging purpose, it means there is a flaw in your database design, because the concept of Pragma is it will challenge the ACID property. So we should avoid it because it's the power. So we should not abuse the power of Pragma. Exactly same you have to tell to the interviewer. We should not abuse the power of Pragma because Pragma can do many things which is actually not allowed. If I make it something rollback, it should be rollback. Everything rollback, the concept. Because this is ACID property is the backbone of our database. This is how our whole, remember ACID property class, Sagar?
Yeah.
Right? So I teach you at least 1 hour for the ACID property, remember? And I tell you the whole database, everything, whatever doing RDBMS concept, everything comes through ACID property, atomicity. Atomicity is everything completed, nothing will be completed. Consistency, isolation, durability. This is how everything will be made to each other. That's why become our RDMS concept comes into the picture. But I'm treating one more question here related to the pragma. When this question comes, or the function, when this question comes related to the function, because you already know this answer, after giving this answer, then you have to tell, but we can do that. Let's see this answer. Let's see this example, then I'll discuss again. My function calls, I'm creating one table. Here I'm just create two columns, suppose text, varchar to 100, yes, timestamp, which time it is called. I just go and create a table. Done. Let me create a function. Create or replace function. Get random number. My function will be called return number is begin end. There's no parameter in a function. I'm just going to call. I'm going to make this function as a pragma. Pragma auto NOMOUS transaction. Pragma autonomous transaction. I make this function as a pragma autonomous transaction. I'm going to write it here. Insert into this. My function calls. Insert into this table a DML operation. Insert is a DML. Suppose writing I was called, and suppose sys time is time. What time it is called, data will be inserted. I'm writing pragma, make it because I'm writing a function. Function must return something. It is returning number. I just go and writing something, anything. Let's go return 2. That's it. Does not matter. Anything I want to return, I return it. My function will be created. I hope so. No error. Yes, function created. What I did is I just create a table. My table contains 2 columns. I create a function. In that function, I write a DML operation. In that function, I write a DML operation. So we can insert data into this particular table. Simple, this data. In that function, I make this function, and it creates a separate transaction from wherever it is calling. Because we can include in our system function definition that everything, whatever written into the body, it's become independent of the main transaction. Let's see and call that. Let's see how it is happening. Let's see and call that. Let me create one more table. Create table random numbers. Random underscore number, a column. Let's make it number. See this example. Getting one more table done. Right? Now I'm going to call this function into a select statement. Everybody see this. I'm writing insert into random number. Insert into random numbers. Column, this column. Select this function. I'm calling this function a select statement. This function contains from dual select by level less than equal to 1000. I call this function 1000 times. Select statement, DML operation coming in a select statement. I'm running this. 1000 rows inserted. First of all, if you see that, we called a function in a select statement. That function contains a DML operation, but we are able to do only because we have a what you can say, because this one is an autonomous transaction. So because of autonomous, everything will be independent. Let me do one thing, because my session is I'm using a live SQL. The live SQL is auto commit. So let me first truncate that both table. Let me do this truncate. I will explain this again, because data will be committed from the both side. Truncate table random number. Truncate table my function calls. Let me truncate the table again. Everything. Just because my session will be, I'm using live SQL. Live SQL is auto commit. I'm using begin. Within begin, and I'm trying to do it here. Begin, make this transaction, make rollback. And now see what is happening. I make a rollback. Means whatever you are inserted, everything will be rollback. Simple. Same concept. Very simple concept. Whatever you wrote here, whatever you insert here, that will be rollback. Means there is no data should be in random number table because I did rollback. But this function call, and insert this 1000 value into this particular table. Let's see this. Let's see this. Select count star from random number table. First, see this table. 0 record. Because everything will be rolled back. Same concept. Yes. Go to this table. 1000 record insert into this table. How is it happening? Because it's happening only because of Pragma autonomous transaction. Even you can see this. Forget about this insert. I'm just writing select get random number, this function. Select get random number from dual. I'm calling this function from a select statement. You can see that this function contains a DML operation. If you see this, insert into this. This function contains a DML operation. And we call that function into select statement. It returns the value 2 because I'm making return 2. You can call a function. If that function contains a DML operation, we can call that function in a select statement as well. Normally, it is not advisable. We are not using anywhere. But just an interview sort of question. When interview, they are asking, can I call it DML operation inside a function? You can say, yes, you can. But normally, you cannot call that function in a select operation. Then you have to but. If you are using Pragma autonomous transaction, means if you make that function body defined as a Pragma autonomous transaction, then that function become independent from its property, and you can call that function in a select statement. So whatever happening within this, that is totally independent. So you can call that function in a select statement. You can see it here, data called, this function call. Right? Any question now? Technical concept, who are you technical concept man? How 32,000? Explain again, Vishal. What 32,000? 32,000?
Vishal, that was the 15,000 you have inserted on.
Okay, 15. Or technical concept, whoever you are. Do you still have an issue? Can I explain it again, or you got the point? You raise your hand yet? Okay. Anyway, now tell me you all. Any confusion on Pragma autonomous transaction? This question is coming in interview.
I have a question. So
Yes,
when we are calling select this function using this function using the select statement, how it is a two transaction, like two independent transaction?
Because this function, because normally it is coming with select. When you write this, if you go to here, what is saying cannot perform a DML operation inside a query. Normally it comes with a query. Right?
So select like just selecting the data is one transaction, and inserting
data is one transaction.
the data is another transaction.
Yes.
Okay.
One transaction. But now what is happening? What is happening now? That it
because
will
we have defined as Pragma autonomous, so it will be treated. It will be different, right? Both transaction will be treated separately.
Both transactions will treat separately. Yes. Both transactions will treat separately. This is the concept of Pragma. Exactly what it is going to happen when you are writing a Pragma. This question coming in interview 200% sure, and this is how we have to answer. I hope you understand it, right? So Pragma autonomous transaction concept is a very good concept. Go through this notes I'm sending you. In maybe today definitely I will send, and tomorrow we are meeting. Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. Thanks. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.